Hello students, welcome to Shri classes. We'll continue with lecture number 3, Control and Coordination, chapter number 7. Here, in this lecture, we'll discuss upon hormonal systems as a second way of control and coordination in animals. Even though we talk about animals, specifically control and coordination in human beings, and that also the second way of control and coordination, which is an endocrine system, also termed as hormonal system, that we are going to discuss here. Okay, so remember here one thing, this hormonal systems means hormones, which are the chemical messengers, are responsible for control and coordination. What did we learn in the first section? Control and coordination in human beings by means of nervous system. In nervous system, the information is transmitted in the form of nerve impulse, which is an electrochemical signal. Whereas in case of hormonal systems, the information from one part of the body to another part is transmitted in the form of chemical messengers, which are nothing but hormones. Okay, so we are going to discuss the endocrine system in human beings, which includes the ductless glands, their secretions and the functions. So let's start this chapter, this section. Before I begin over here, there is one very small story given at the beginning of hormones in animals in your textbook chapter. What is that it talks about? A squirrel, if it comes under a very scary situation, what are the possibilities that we can expect a squirrel to do? Fight or flight mode of operation is carried out by the squirrel. Fight means it has to fight and overcome the scary situation, or flight mode meaning it has to run away from a particular external environment, which makes the situation for squirrel a very scary one. So fight or flight mode of operation is what we can expect. But both are not so easy. Fighting or even the flight mode, that is running away from the scary situation, both are very difficult actually speaking. For fighting, of course, you require a lot of energy and all. For running away also, of course, there is a nervous system which may trigger the muscles of the legs, and then it can instruct the legs to run away from that. But that is also very difficult. It's not so easy, because instructions need to be passed, energy is required, and the squirrel has to run away from the scary situation. That means a lot of energy is required. If I give an example of a squirrel which is very weak in condition, in that case, what would you expect a squirrel to come out of the scary situation? So here it is very interesting to note that the hormonal system of communication from one part of the body to another part comes into picture, and in order to deal with such scary situations, the hormonal system comes into play to deal with such scary situations. By hormonal system, how it is possible to overcome this one? Secretion of particular kind of hormones may trigger certain activities in the body which will ease the mental stress that is developed due to scary situation. One example could be adrenaline hormones. Whether animals or human beings, if sudden scary situation arises, the release of adrenaline hormones will lead to ease the mental stress by increasing the rate of breathing, the rate of respiration, heartbeat, sweating, etc. These are the results of the chemical messenger or the hormone which is adrenaline. You got it? So this is how the chemical messengers is an important thing which will ensure a second way of control and coordination in human body. Not only in human body, of course in multicellular well developed animals also. And this is what we are going to study, hormonal system. One example we gave you, I gave you to deal with a scary situation, how adrenaline helps. Before I proceed, I would like to read one paragraph from your textbook. Okay, we'll read that paragraph and see how nicely the effects of hormone adrenaline is explained in order to deal with a situation like scary situation which is faced by a squirrel. So I would like to go through that one. Okay, I have to open this, hold for a moment, and then let me open the textbook, open the particular paragraph. I would like to read it and then we proceed with hormonal systems in human beings. Okay, fine. Section 7.3 Hormones in animals. This is the textbook chapter. In the first paragraph, an instance has been explained. The instance is squirrels experience. What do some animals, for instance squirrels, experience when they are in a scary situation? Their bodies have to prepare for either fighting or running away. It is called a fight or flight mode of operation. Fight or flight means run away. So this is the mode of operation. And if nervous impulses or the nervous system is involved in order to deal with such situations, then only fight or flight mode of operation will be enabled. And as I explained, it is difficult to carry both. Fighting, it requires a lot of energy and it's a challenge for a squirrel, and similarly running away also is a challenge for a squirrel. In such situations, how to deal with the situation, how the squirrel can deal with the situation? A body of the squirrel, for that matter the human being's body also, it tackles by way of secretion of hormone called adrenaline. What are the effects of that hormone adrenaline and how a body is prepared to deal with such a situation, whether a squirrel or a scary situation for a human beings can be dealt with. Let us only look at the consequences of adrenaline hormones, which has been very clearly explained here. Here I'll read this paragraph and then we'll start with the endocrine glands in human beings. Okay, fine. Adrenaline is secreted directly into the blood means bloodstream, and carried to different parts of the body. The target organs for the specific tissues on which it acts include the heart. Heart is a target tissue or a target organ, you can say. Of course, target cells also sometimes we refer to. So heart is the target organ. As a result, the heart beats faster, resulting in supply of more oxygen to our muscles. Why? We'll see later. The blood to the digestive system and the skin is reduced. The blood supply to the digestive system and skin is reduced due to contraction of muscles around small arteries in these organs. The arteries that supply the blood to the digestive system and the skin, those arteries will contract and thereby there is a less supply of oxygen also. So the blood to the digestive system and skin is reduced. The blood content itself is reduced. The supply of the blood itself is reduced to the digestive system and to the skin due to contraction of arteries. This diverts the blood to our skeletal muscles. Skeletal muscles are more effectors. So the supply of blood increases to the skeletal muscles. The breathing rate also increases because of the contractions of the diaphragm and the rib muscles. Why breathing rate increases? due to contraction of rib muscles and muscles of the diaphragm. Due to contraction of the diaphragm and the rib muscles, the heartbeat also increase, the breathing rate also increases. All these responses together enable the animal body to be ready to deal with the situation. Such animal hormones are part of endocrine systems which constitute a second way of control and coordination in our body. You may ask me, these responses, how do these responses enable? Yes, अगर कोई टाइगर आके खड़ा हो गया, आदमी शूशू कर जाएगा, isn't it? That is one way of releasing the entire stress. Otherwise, either if the brain gives the instructions to the muscles of the legs and the different body parts, energy is required to overcome the situation, either to fight a tiger or run away much faster than the tiger in order to get protected by that. Immediate response by the body is to release the mental stress first and then attack whatever that you can do. So immediately such a scary, these are all sudden scary situations. Under such conditions, the secretion of the adrenaline hormone increases the heartbeat, the breathing rate, and it increases the supply of blood to the skeletal muscles so that those will become powerful in order to fight also. Is it clear? So this is how the hormones, chemical messengers are also required in order to have control and coordination in some specific situations like this, a scary situation. Not only that, for the proper growth and development of a body, different parts of the body, different organs, at the right time, the right quantity of secretion of the right hormone at right time is ensured based on the feedback mechanism in a body, and therefore human body growth will be a very good uniform growth will be observed in human body. So we are going to study now the endocrine system. What is endocrine system? Endocrine system consists of endocrine glands, which are ductless glands. There are two types of glands, exocrine glands and endocrine glands. Exocrine glands are duct glands. Example, salivary glands, mucus glands, sebaceous glands, or for that matter, I think these are the examples which have the ducts, basically sweat glands. All these have ducts and they secrete the secretions over the epithelial tissues, over the surface of the epithelium, or through the duct, or inside the duct they will secrete the secretions. Whereas endocrine glands, which you are going to study now, like all these thyroxine gland, adrenaline gland, testis, ovaries, pituitary glands, all these are endocrine glands. Why these are called endocrine glands? These are ductless glands. Ductless glands, they do not possess the ducts, and the secretions of these glands, which are basically hormones, will be directly into the bloodstream, and the bloodstream carries these hormones to the target cells, target tissues, or target organs for a particular action. This is how the endocrine glands work. So now we will study we are going to study about 10 endocrine glands in human beings. So we'll list down now. We'll display that one. Yeah, here. Let's start with this. Hormones in animals. Let me read few sentences and then we'll talk about these glands. Hormones in animals. First question. This question had appeared about 2 years back. What are animal hormones? Chemical messengers, okay, acceptable, but something needs to be uppu kara to be added to that one. What is that one? Animal hormones are chemical messengers that are a part of endocrine system, which constitutes a second way of control and coordination system in our bodies. Very nicely defined in your textbook. What are endocrine? What are animal hormones? Hormones are chemical messengers and which form the part of endocrine system that establishes second way of control and coordination in our bodies. Next, hormonal system in human beings. with respect to human beings, few points. Endocrine system constitutes a second way of control and coordination, acceptable. Hormones are chemical messengers which are the part of the above system, and endocrine glands are responsible for secretion of hormones. These are ductless glands that synthesize and secrete hormones directly into the bloodstream, and the bloodstream carries those hormones to target organs. What are the endocrine glands in human body that we are going to study? There are 10 endocrine glands. We have to study their locations, their secretions, the name of the hormone that it secretes, and the function of the hormone, and the target organs also. Rather than target organs, the location of these glands, their secretions and functions, which is most important part. So let us locate these 10 endocrine glands, namely hypothalamus, pituitary, pineal gland. These three are located in brain. Thyroid, parathyroid, these are located in the neck region, just below the neck. Thymus, located on either side of the trachea. Pancreas, below stomach. Adrenal glands on the kidneys. Testis, male, in the scrotum, outside, below abdomen. Ovary, in the lower abdominal region. So these are the glands, and let us study their location in the diagrammatic form. See here, major endocrine glands in human body. You must know all the locations, because you can express, see, probably they may give you a diagram like this, and they may give you the functions of a particular hormone, and you need to identify a gland and represent correctly and enumerate it in your answer scripts, is what you may have to do. And therefore you must know these diagrams properly. Here I have two sets of diagrams here. One set is this one, and combined together is this is one more diagram. Here it includes both for male and female, ovaries and testes. That is the only difference which makes in males and females. So in one diagram you can find all these organs, but here we have two separate diagrams as given in your textbook. So male endocrine glands, female endocrine glands, only difference ovaries and testes. Otherwise all these are same for both male and female. Let us try to locate once again. Here on the top side, hypothalamus, pineal gland, pituitary gland. These are located in the brain. Thyroid gland, parathyroid glands, just below the neck region. Thyroid and parathyroid glands look like this. This is what it is. This is a thyroid gland, and 4 glands which are embedded into the thyroid are parathyroid glands, 4 in numbers. Next here thymus gland, which is located, thymus is a paired structure located on either side of the trachea. Then you have over the kidneys, just like a cap structures, are called adrenal glands. Then comes a pancreas. Pancreas is a duct gland as well as ductless gland. It is a ductless gland, component of an endocrine system, because it secretes the hormones insulin and glucagon directly into the bloodstream. Pancreatic juice through duct, it is secreted in duodenum. So pancreas is the one which is both endocrine as well as exocrine gland. And then comes here the ovaries in the lower abdominal region and testis in the scrotum outside. So these are the locations of the glands, positions and locations of the glands. All are same here: hypothalamus, pineal gland, pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus, then pancreas, adrenaline, ovary. With respect to male, instead of ovary you have testes. These are the glands. Study and note down, revise once you have a look at yourself once again all these glands. I hope you are familiar with the names of the glands, their locations. In this diagram, along with the names of the glands, the hormones secreted by each gland is given. The way it is written over here, similarly in your textbook where you find this diagram, below those glands or next to those glands, you write down the hormones secreted just like the way it is represented over here. Okay, fine. We'll start with again hypothalamus. Hypothalamus, pituitary, pineal glands are located in brains. Hypothalamus secretes releasing hormones. It secretes releasing hormones. First we'll study in this only the names of the gland, the names of the hormones, that's all. In my next slide we'll study the functions. Clear? Fine. Hypothalamus releasing hormones. It secretes, the name itself is called releasing hormones. Next, pituitary gland. It secretes 5 types of hormones: GH, TH, PH, VH, OH. Growth hormones, trophic hormones, then prolactic hormones, vasopressin hormones, oxytocin hormones. Pineal gland, melatonin hormone. Parathyroid gland. Let us first understand thyroid gland. Thyroxine hormones. Parathyroid glands, which are 4 in numbers, embedded in thyroid gland. They secrete calcitonin. Thymus secretes thymosin hormones. Adrenal gland, adrenaline hormones. Pancreas, insulin and glucagon. Textbook gives only insulin, but anyway glucagon also will study. Then here ovaries, 2 types of hormones, estrogen and progesterone, and testis in males, testosterones. Once again, hypothalamus secretes releasing hormones. Pituitary glands secretes 5 types of hormones, but textbook mentions about only the growth hormones. It is better to study these hormones also. And pineal gland, melatonin. Then thyroid gland, thyroxine hormone. Parathyroid gland, calcitonin hormone. Thymus gland secretes thymosin hormones. Adrenal glands secrete adrenaline hormones. Pancreas secretes 2 types, insulin and glucagon hormones. Ovary secretes 2 types of hormones, estrogen and progesterone, and testis secretes testosterone. These are the different types of hormones secreted by different glands. Now we will study the function, but before I take you through the functions, yourself please memorize in the textbook. Once again write down, first note it down, and then I will proceed with functions of each gland, the hormones, functions, each gland, the secretion, the hormones and their functions. That is what in my next slide we will study, but note down all these things, then we will go to the next slide. Yeah, I think you have studied these glands and the hormones that they secrete. Let us go to the functions. Endocrine in human, endocrine glands in human body. I think some disturbance, just wait for a moment. Yeah, let's start now. Endocrine glands in human body. Out of this, there are 3 glands which have been taken here: hypothalamus, pituitary, which is also known as master gland. Why it is called master gland, we'll see. Pineal gland. These 3 glands are located in the brain here. The location also you can see. You need not know the exact location of the brain and all, is not required. You can simply say it is located in brain for your standard, and that is what the textbook also gives. Okay, that is enough for according to me. So pineal gland, pituitary gland and hypothalamus. All these three are located in brain. First one, hypothalamus gland. Location, okay, before that, for all the glands I have listed in terms of the location where the gland is present, hormone secretion, the name of the hormone and the function of the hormones, what it does. This is the format which has been maintained, and hence my request would be for all of you to note down all the functions properly in your notebook from these slides. Okay, I hope you do that. Hypothalamus gland, location present in the brain, hormone secretion, releasing hormones. It secretes releasing hormones. What is the function of this one? Of course, these releasing hormones in turn govern the secretions of pituitary glands. You understood? So can I say hypothalamus gland is the one which triggers the releasing action, or which triggers the pituitary gland for further secretion of the hormones? As long as the pituitary gland does not get the triggering action from the hypothalamus, pituitary gland will not work. The moment it gets a signal from hypothalamus gland, then it starts secretions, and therefore hypothalamus gland, it regulates the secretion of hormones from the pituitary gland. And also important, one more function for hypothalamus gland, see here, it is the control center of many autonomic nervous system functions. We have studied in autonomic nervous system, there are two kinds. Basically, it is the regulation of involuntary actions, meaning control and coordination of internal glands. In that we saw parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, which are contrary to each other. The functions of each of these systems is contrary, but of course complementary in order to establish a good balance. And that control center of that particular nervous system is hypothalamus. Is it clear? So we are correlating the autonomic nervous system functions to hypothalamus. So these are the two functions of this gland. It secretes releasing hormones, which in turn govern the secretions of pituitary glands, and hypothalamus is a control center for autonomic nervous system's functions. Next, pituitary gland, which is also called a master gland. Why this is called a master gland? Because pituitary gland controls all other glands, or the secretions of all other glands is controlled by pituitary glands, and hence we call this as a master gland. Location present at the base of the brain. Okay, you can say it is present in the brain. Hormone secretions, there are 5 hormones and the functions have been given. Let us study growth hormones that regulates the growth and development of a body. If excess secretion, overproduction of the growth hormone is there, then the body, especially during childhood, okay, because the terminology is what we are using over here is only for childhood. Other terminologies for adults. Okay, so if the growth hormone is secreted in more quantity, overproduction in childhood, then it leads to gigantism. That means the growth of the body will be quite bigger, and that is called gigantism. So, one more thing is, if there is a deficiency in the secretion of the growth hormone by the pituitary gland, then the body will be very short. In that case, that is termed as dwarfism. That is also in childhood. So you understood here what are the functions of growth hormone, that is dwarfism and gigantism. These are the results of dwarfism is a result of less secretion of growth hormone, and gigantism is a result of overproduction of growth hormone. Next, trophic hormone. This regulates secretion of hormones from other endocrine glands such as adrenal, thyroid, testis, ovaries. Or I think you can say, in general you can say, trophic hormone governs or regulates the secretions of other glands. That is better to put. If you are not able to remember some of these things, you can say trophic hormones, which is represented by TH, it triggers the secretions of other glands, other endocrine glands such as adrenal, thyroid, testis, ovaries, etc. Prolactin hormone, which is short form is PH, and it regulates the function of mammary glands in females. Vasopressin hormone, VH, regulates water and electrolyte balance in the body. You got it? Water and electrolyte balance is maintained by prolactin hormone. Vasopressin hormone, and last one in this is oxytocin hormone, which regulates release of milk during lactation or triggers the milk production during lactation. This is what you can say. So these are few types of hormones secreted by pituitary glands and their functions. Next, under the function, what I have written is, according to textbook, pituitary gland controls secretions of other endocrine glands, and hence it is termed as a master gland. So the main function we can say, it controls the secretions of all other endocrine glands. Is it clear for you? I think quite clear. Then pineal gland, location present in the brain near the pituitary gland. You can simply say it is present in the brain. Hormone secretion, melatonin. It is melatonin hormone. What is the function? Pineal gland's secretion melatonin delays sexual development and promotes sleep. Do you expect a delay in sexual development? Yes. As long as the children attain the age of 10 to 12, the sexual organs and all need not get fully developed. So the delays in sexual development is ensured by melatonin hormone secreted by pineal gland located in brain, and also pineal gland promotes sleep. So all these three locations, all these three glands locations have been indicated in this diagram, and these are the functions and the secretions. Note down all these details. So can we go to the next slide now? Yeah. Here in this diagram, thyroid, parathyroid glands and thymus gland. These are the three things which we are discussing. First one, thyroid gland. It is present just below the neck. You can see here. This is the neck portion. At the base of the neck, thyroid gland is present, or just below the neck, the thyroid gland is present. Hormone secretion, thyroxine. The name of the hormone is thyroxine. What is its function? Mainly the body metabolism is controlled by thyroxine hormone. What kind of metabolism? That means, see, the body metabolism depends upon the amount of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, etc. And therefore thyroxine regulates the carbohydrate, protein and fat metabolism in such a way that there exists a good balance of all these products. So thyroxine maintains or regulates the body metabolism, and also important thing is iodine is required for the production of thyroxine. That means for the manufacturing of thyroxine hormone, iodine is required, and if there is a deficiency of iodine, then there is a deficiency of thyroxine hormone. If there is a deficiency of thyroxine hormone, it can lead to a disease called goiter, and the symptom is swollen neck. So this is what it is given. Next is parathyroid. Parathyroid are 4 in numbers, which are embedded into a thyroid gland. In my previous slide, you have already seen where are these 4 numbers of parathyroid glands. So 4 in number embedded in thyroid gland. What is the secretion? calcitonin. So calcitonin is the secretion of the parathyroid glands. What is that it do? This hormone does? It regulates calcium and phosphate levels in the blood. Sometimes we say it regulates calcium content of the body. That is also, you can say, calcium content of the body, you can say, or calcium and phosphate levels in the blood, you can say. So this is the function of parathyroid. Next is thymus. Thymus is a paired structure present on either side of the trachea, and hormone secretion is thymosin. What is its function? Important. Production of the antibodies is due to the hormone thymosin. Thymosin produces antibodies. Do you understand? So main function is it helps in the production of antibodies. Not only that, it activates immune responses, or it triggers immunization system and helps in production of antibodies. This is the function of hormone thymosin, secreted by thymus, paired structure located on either side of trachea. So glands, locations, secretions and functions. I hope all these are very clear to you. Fine, we'll go to the next slide now. Yeah. Another 4 glands, totally 10 glands we are studying today, and here 7, 8, 9, 10. The locations have been given here, you can refer. Pancreas here in male, this is a male diagram, this is a female diagram. Pancreas, adrenal glands here also. For female diagram, adrenal, pancreas for male diagram, and testis for the males and ovaries for the females. So all these locations have been given in the diagram. First of all, pancreas, it is present just below the stomach. Pancreas is present just below the stomach. I hope you were able to see this. Is it visible? I hope you are able to see these diagrams here. Okay, fine. So pancreas, testis and ovaries. Let us see the first one, pancreas. It is present just below the stomach. 2 hormones are secreted by pancreas, insulin and glucagon. Only insulin is given in your textbook, it's okay. What is the function of the insulin? It lowers the blood sugar level. Glucagon increases the blood sugar level. Blood glucose or blood sugar, both are same. So insulin decreases the blood sugar level, whereas glucagon increases the blood sugar level. These are the opposite functions, but which are required in order to maintain the blood sugar level in the body. Okay, and note here, pancreas is an exocrine gland as well, and also it is an endocrine gland. Both pancreas is an exocrine as well as endocrine gland. Exocrine refers to duct glands because it secretes pancreatic juice in duodenum, and also it is a ductless gland that comes under endocrine gland because it secretes insulin and glucagon hormones directly into the bloodstream. Clear? So that information is given, and once again, insulin lowers the blood glucose or blood sugar, and glucagon increases the blood glucose. Next, adrenal glands, location 2 in numbers. On each kidney, on the top of the kidney, these 2 cap-like structures, those are called adrenals. What is the hormone secretion? Adrenaline regulates blood pressure, heartbeat and breathing rate. How these things are controlled? I just read one paragraph in your textbook chapter in the beginning of this section, which very clearly explain the the change in the or increase in the heartbeat, the increase in breathing rate, etc. What causes and how it happens. So you need to read that paragraph once again. Okay. So adrenaline glands, 2 in numbers, located on top of each kidney. Hormone is adrenaline, and it regulates blood pressure, heartbeat and breathing rate. Important, blood pressure, heartbeat and breathing rate are regulated by this hormone. Next, testis. It is present in the scrotum here. Present in the scrotum, it is a bag-like structure, and outside the lower abdomen, and the temperature also will be less outside the lower abdomen, outside the lower abdominal region, so that the sperm production is effective. Anyway, here we are talking about the hormones. So testis present in the scrotum, outside the lower abdomen, hormone secretion, testosterone. What is the function? Regulates male accessory sex organs. It helps in development of the sex organs, you can say, and also controls secondary sexual characteristics, which are development of mustache, beard, and change of a voice. All these are the secondary sexual characters. I hope you have understood that. Next, ovaries location. Here you can see inside the lower abdominal region. There are two types of hormones secreted by ovaries. Ovaries location present in the lower abdomen. Hormone secretion, estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen regulates development of female accessory sex organs and secondary characteristics such as mammary glands, soft skin, hair pattern and feminine whites, etc. So estrogen is responsible for development of the sexual organs and secondary sexual characters, whereas progesterone hormone is to control the changes in the uterus during pregnancy and as well as during menstrual cycle. So these are the functions of another 4 glands, okay, endocrine glands. Let's see. I hope you have understood. You can have a look at this first, read yourself, note down some contents. I hope you have gone through and noted all the contents. Here, let us talk about hormonal disorders. You can get some question based on this. This slide is important, probably 1 mark for this, another 1 or 2 marks. About 2 to 3 marks of questions can appear definitely on this section. Hormonal disorders. The deficiency or overproduction of the hormones may result into some abnormalities called disorders. What are those things have been listed over here? Dwarfism, it is a result of less secretion of growth hormone secreted by the pituitary gland. Gigantism, it is a result of overproduction of growth hormone by a pituitary gland during the childhood. Goiter, iodine is required for the synthesis of thyroxine hormone in thyroxine gland. Deficiency of iodine in our diet may result into less production of thyroxine hormone and equally less secretion of thyroxine hormone, that results into a disease called goiter, and the symptom of which is swollen neck. Next, diabetes. Diabetes occurs when insulin, see here, diabetes generally it is referred to the increase in blood sugar level. If the insulin secretion by beta cells of the pancreas is reduced, then the blood sugar level increases, and that situation is called diabetes or diabetes mellitus. So that is what it is. And the diabetes mainly causes some harmful effects, many harmful effects to list down. Okay, anyway, that's not our part of study. What is that diabetes? Why it is caused? The deficiency of insulin hormone results into increase in blood sugar level, resulting into diabetes disease. That is what it is. Next, there is a last one. This part is very important. Feedback mechanism. See here, all the endocrine glands secrete a particular hormone, and these hormones have target organs or the target tissues, and those target tissues, the growth and development of those target tissues or target organs is carried out by the hormones. the growth and development of individual organs is triggered and achieved and controlled by the secretions of all these hormones which we saw now. Now, exact timing and the quantity of hormone secretion is most important part in the proper growth and development of a human body. Is it not? In that case, how this is done? The exact timing and the quantity of secretion of the hormones is controlled by a feedback mechanism, is what you should know. Not much has been discussed. We should know that the exact timing and quantity of hormone is controlled by a feedback mechanism in our body, so that proper growth and development of all organs of the body takes place. One example gives, the textbook mentions one example here, that is the diabetes. If the sugar level in the blood increases, then the rise in the sugar level is detected by cells of the pancreas. Interesting. If there is an increase in blood sugar level, the increase in level is detected by cells of the pancreas, and thereby pancreas releases more insulin, which decreases the blood sugar level. Once the blood sugar level decreases, the quantity of secretion of the insulin also is simultaneously decreased. That means the exact timing and the quantity of insulin secretion is definitely controlled by some kind of a feedback mechanism, isn't it? And therefore, feedback mechanism, timing and amount of hormone secretion is controlled by a feedback mechanism. With an example, you have to justify. This small paragraph talks about the same, and you will get one more question for this. And this is given in your textbook on the right hand side, top paragraph. Anything to be discussed? I think I hope you have understood what is the difference between exocrine glands, endocrine glands. And endocrine glands establish the second way of communication, that is nothing but second way of control and coordination in human bodies. What are the types of endocrine glands? We saw 10 types of endocrine glands. Their location, the secretion of the hormones, and the functions of the hormones is what we studied. Finally, the hormonal disorders in terms of dwarfism, gigantism, goiter, and diabetes. These are the 4 examples which often come into exams we discussed. And finally, a feedback mechanism for the secretion of the hormones, or a feedback mechanism for the control and coordination, of a particular action by a feedback mechanism is what we saw with an example of diabetes. So this is how the second way of control and coordination is very much required in our human bodies, not only our human bodies, in animals also, apart from the nervous system which establishes primary control and coordination in human beings. Okay, so let us end the lecture over here. In my next lecture, we will be talking about the last section of this topic, that is control and coordination in plants. We have completed now control and coordination in human beings. Even though it talks about animals, specifically the chapter talks about control and coordination in human beings. That part we completed. So in my next lecture, I'll be taking control and coordination in plants. So we'll end the lecture over here. Thank you very much for watching.